Into the darkness, we are one. Into the darkness, we almost run.
We are the Sleepers of the Second City. Alex, Mike, Jake here once again, Second City Sleepers, bringing you a pretty awesome episode in our idea. We are each going to take a wrestler that hasn't really gotten a push or has kind of gotten poo-pooed on in a way, or just hasn't gotten their time yet, which I just stated, so I'm an idiot. But yeah, we're going to recreate a wrestler, kind of rebuild their career and how it will play out. And we're going to see how this works out. We kind of did something like this before, but it was just like a make a match thing, what you did with NWO vs. DX. If you haven't watched it, be sure to go check that video out.
Yeah, it's a good video. Well, starting us off, Mr. Jake.
Cool,
Go ahead and start us off with your guy, and let's listen.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm picking Dean Ambrose, and what's today's date? 22nd, 1 week prior to WrestleMania is today. I'm going to start it with real time as they're at right now. So I'm doing Dean Ambrose, and his next big match is going to be at WrestleMania, the 7-man ladder match. And I'm going to start it from there. What I want is, I want Ambrose to win the title, man. I don't really have it booked how he wins it. I want him to walk away with that championship in a ladder match in some way. And, the reason why he even went after the Intercontinental title in the first place is because he went into the offices in that Snow Out show and basically saw the photos of the former champions and wanted to be up there with them, So after he wins the championship, I want him to basically come out on Raw and be appreciative. I'm the champ, I won, it's mine. Maybe show a video package of former Intercontinental champions. Talk about some great former Intercontinental champions of years past. The guys that have gone on to be Hall of Famers, the guys that have gone on to be world champions, the credentials, the perks of being the Intercontinental champion. I want Wade Barrett to come out and interrupt and say, because even though you won, I get a rematch. Dean Ambrose kind of maybe play with him a little bit and say, no, I'm not going to give you a rematch. Basically do the same thing Barrett was doing to him. I'm not giving you a title match. Hooker Crook, Wade Barrett gets his rematch. It's going to be at the next pay-per-view, which is going to be Extreme Rules. And I think a cool way to do it would be, Extreme Rules is a gimmick pay-per-view, man, so I say put it in a cage. And the reason why I say that is because, the first time Ambrose was disqualified, the second time he won it in the ladder match, he hasn't beat Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett hasn't beat him. And then we get the cage. Have Ambrose escape the cage to win, and then the underlying thing here is that Ambrose still hasn't beaten Wade Barrett. And then what I want to do is the next pay-per-view is Payback, and I want him to beat Wade Barrett clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Go on to Money in the Bank, however many men they're going to have in there. And at the end of the Money in the Bank match, have Ambrose climbing the ladder. As he's going to reach the briefcase, I want Wade Barrett to hit him either with the briefcase or the Intercontinental belt. Ambrose goes down, Wade Barrett wins Money in the Bank. After that, basically come to Raw. Ambrose goes into Triple H's office, demands that he gets a shot, or he wants a one-on-one match with Wade Barrett. Basically say, I beat him before, he got me last night, I want to find out who the better man is. Have him kind of argue with Triple H. Have Big Show be in the room with Triple H when that all goes down, and have him kind of say something smart aleck to Big Show while he's in there. And you got a match that night on Raw. We got Ambrose versus Barrett. During the middle of the match, Big Show comes out, gives Ambrose the WMD or whatever he's calling it now, punches him in the jaw, and have Ambrose pin him. So the underlying thing so far here is that where we're at is Ambrose is the Intercontinental champion, Wade Barrett's the Money in the Bank champion, and Ambrose has only gotten beat once, pinned, since, or he's been beaten twice since he's had the Intercontinental belt, both times to Wade Barrett. And the Money in the Bank is the one, and the other one is by Crook with Big Show. Then the next pay-per-view is going to be Battleground, and I want Ambrose to go over Big Show. You can do whatever you want with it. It can be a gimmick match or not. Basically, I'd like to see maybe like an exposed turnbuckle or something, and Big Show goes to punch Ambrose, and as he goes to punch Ambrose moves out of the way, and Big Show punches the turnbuckle and messes up his hand. He turns around, Dirty Deeds, pins, 1, 2, 3, Ambrose retains again. During this time period of the build up to the Big Show match and afterwards, I want him still to kind of have a conflict with Triple H. Triple H basically saying, you know, you're not who you think you are. I don't know what you're talking about. And have Ambrose challenge Triple H to a match at SummerSlam. And even say, hey, I'll put the gold on the line. You're a former champion. Why don't you prove who you are? And kind of have Triple H do the same thing he did with Bryan. You know, like, you don't deserve to be in the ring with me. You're not my caliber. And, you know, have maybe Ambrose say something along the lines of, yeah, the last couple times you were in the ring, you lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania twice. You lost to Daniel Bryan. You lost to Brock Lesnar. Heck, we beat you as the Shield last year twice. I guess you just don't have it anymore. Basically goad him into facing him at SummerSlam. And heck, put the title on the line. If not, I think it wouldn't really matter, because if you're doing a match with Triple H versus the Intercontinental Champion, it doesn't have to be on the line. I want Ambrose to pin him clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. I want him to out-wrestle him. I want the crowd to be involved, and Ambrose retain the title. Then we're moving on to Night of Champions, next pay-per-view, and something that I've had an idea for a long time that I always thought would be really cool would be an Intercontinental Champion Battle Royal, where all the participants in the match are all former Intercontinental Champions. And there's been so many guys that have held the gold on the company. You got Ziggler, you got Luke Harper, you got Kofi, you got Big E. All these guys who are doing nothing can be in this Battle Royal. Kane, Big Show's a former Intercontinental Champion. You can bring back a couple old guys like Road Dogg, man, he could be in the match. Gold Dust, you know. And basically have the end be, you know, Triple H is trying to get his revenge for pinning him, so he's going to get that belt taken away from him. Have the last two guys be Kane and Ambrose. Ambrose throws out Kane, he retains the title inside the Battle Royal. So now we're really getting some steam under Ambrose. And this really cool thing that I like is that the Intercontinental Champion doesn't get beat on television clean. I think that's huge. Face or heel, I don't like when a champion gets beat. If it's by crook, it's totally okay with me, because as a champion, you're supposed to say that you're strong, you're remaining strong. Moving on to SummerSlam, or Survivor Series, then. Somehow have him in the main event Survivor Series match. I'm not really looking into it big. You can have him win, you can have him lose. To me, it's not really that important. I'd have him go out, maybe by disqualification somehow, or a count out, or, you know, whatever the match is, have him in it, but he isn't the sole survivor. Then I wanted to go on to TLC and have the Triple H is still pretty hot at him, right? So I want him to defend the title at TLC in a WrestleMania rematch. A WrestleMania 7-man ladder match rematch. The same 7 guys that were in the match at WrestleMania, with the exception of Wade Barrett. Have Wade Barrett come out, who, by the way, is the Money in the Bank holder still. Have Barrett come out and say, you know what? I've proven everything I need to prove with you. I beat you. This Intercontinental Championship, I don't want it. I have a Money in the Bank briefcase. There's no reason for me to go after that. I'm biding my time. No, thank you. So you can either replace Barrett with somebody for that match, or you can just do a 6-man ladder match. Either way, Ambrose wins. Do the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, you know, he's not necessarily going to win. Maybe put, you know, Barrett at the last 5 or something like that. You can do what you want there. After the Royal Rumble, I'm going, you know, I'm thinking have Wade Barrett eliminate Ambrose. See, I'm doing this continuous feud, kind of, that even though they're not always together, it just seems like their paths keep on crossing at random times. The matches in the beginning for the title, then the Money in the Bank, and then afterwards with Big Show to move the story across, and then here it is, fast forward to TLC and their paths cross slightly, and then the Royal Rumble, their paths cross. They're both doing their separate things, but they always seem to run into each other. About 3 weeks after that on a Raw, you know, at this time Ambrose is winning continuously on Raw and random matches, SmackDown and whatnot. I'm just highlighting the main points of the feuds. I want to have Wade Barrett versus Ambrose on a Raw. And during the match, out of nowhere, comes Chris Jericho and gives the code breaker to Ambrose. Wade Barrett pins him. So then again, once again, the only guy that he's lost to since he's been Intercontinental Champion is Wade Barrett. And he's lost 3 times, I have him here, and all 3 of them are to Wade Barrett, you know. And it sets up Jericho basically being like, you know, I've been hearing you say that you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion, you have a great run, but I'm a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. I've had the belt more than anybody else, and I'm going to prove to you at WrestleMania who the best Intercontinental Champion is of all time. So we get to WrestleMania, and I've been calling Honky Tonk Man to be in the Hall of Fame for a long time now. And I think Honky Tonk Man gets inducted at WrestleMania 32. And then at WrestleMania Day backstage, have Honky Tonk Man come up to Ambrose and be like, man, you won this Intercontinental title a year ago. Can you beat? I'm the Honky Tonk Man. I've had the Intercontinental title longer than anybody else. My record of 454 days still stands. But if you win tonight, you're going to have this title a year, and I believe in you. Basically, kind of give him like a face rub. And we're talking about a heel Jericho here, by the way. Like brutal, disgusting, bottom-feeding trash bag, Chris Jericho, just a heel, straight heel. And then have Honky Tonk Man be like, man, I think, you're going to make a run for your money as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. So during the match, Jericho versus Ambrose, we got Honky Tonk Man sitting at ringside. And Jericho's going around boasting he's the greatest of all time. Ambrose says, I'm going to prove that I'm the greatest. And then you have, based on the longest title reign, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. A guy that said he was for years, Honky Tonk Man, I'm the greatest ever, at ringside. I'm having Jericho push Honky Tonk Man. Somehow there's a confrontation while he's at commentary. Referee gets bumped. Honky Tonk Man lays out Jericho with the guitar. Ambrose pins him in the ring. Fans are going crazy, because Jericho gets shut up by Honky Tonk Man, who knocks him out with the guitar. Ambrose retains at Mania. Moving on to Extreme Rules, and this is something that I was talking about a minute ago, is that a twist on a match that has been around for years. Instead of having an I Quit match, the only way that you can lose this match is to tell the other person that you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. So you got Jericho versus Ambrose, and they keep on putting the mic in each other's face. Tell me I'm the best. Tell me I'm the greatest, He's giving the mic to Jericho. Tell me right now I'm the greatest. Basically have Ambrose beat Jericho so bad that as the coward that Jericho would be playing says, okay, look, you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I'm saying it right now. And the match ends like that. So it's like an I Quit match, but with a different twist. That was a cool idea. So, there's a couple pay-per-views in between, but I'm building up to June 27th, 2016, which is day 455, and that just happens to fall on a Monday. So, I don't know if there's a pay-per-view on that Sunday or not. Let's, for instance, say that there's not. So, Dean Ambrose gets to Raw on that Monday. It's day 455. He thinks that, as of today, I'm the longest tenured Intercontinental Champion of all time. Well, in between this time where he was feuding with Jericho, I want Barrett to cash in and win the world title. I don't care how he does it or where he does it. Somehow, Barrett is the WWE Champion. And I know this is far-fetched for some people, but this is my shit. Sorry. So on June 27th, 2016's day 455, they're going to have a celebration in the ring. And former Intercontinental Champions Pat Patterson, Bret Hart, Honky Tonk Man, and Shawn Michaels are there to congratulate him. It's a black tie event. Congratulations, you've done a great job. I mean, I'm talking making this belt look like it actually means something. Have Bret Hart talk about, his title reign. Have Shawn Michaels talk about how it gave him a great stepping stone. Have Honky Tonk Man talk about his reign and how Pat Patterson, how proud he is. During this time, this is about 2 months after Jericho proclaimed to him that you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I want Jericho to come out on a one-time off appearance and basically just tell him, look, what I said at Extreme Rules, I meant. You are the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. So in one night, you get Jericho coming back just to give him a rub and actually mean it. Not cocky heel Jericho, but babyface, sincere Jericho. You know what? You beat me. You proved to me. I've watched you. These legends have watched you. You're the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And at this time, Wade Barrett comes out. The culmination of a feud that's been going on for 16 months off and on. And at this time, you got Barrett, who's the world champion, and you got Ambrose, who's the Intercontinental Champion. And basically comes out and says, today is day 455, but this day's not over yet. So if you lose this title today, you only are technically have been the champion for 454 days, which is a tie. So I think you should defend that title against me tonight. And if you can beat me, then you'll have 455 days, and you'll go forward as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Have Bret Hart interrupt. Have Bret basically tell him, look, you're out here, you're trying to get something for nothing. If you think you're so great and everything like that, why don't you put your WWE title on the line also? and have Barrett kind of be a heel about it. I don't want to. He doesn't deserve it. Have Bret Hart kind of like goad him into it to an extent. So on that night, June 27th, 2016, day 455, you got in the main event, title versus title, WWE Champion versus Intercontinental Champion. And to set this tone for the match, I think Patterson, Bret Hart, Honky Tonk Man, and Shawn Michaels are on the stage in like some nice comfortable chairs watching the match, because this is an important match. Just a little bit of an element to add to it. This is a match that these legends can't miss. It's a must-see match for these men. They want to see a title versus title. Will Ambrose make history? Will he be the first guy since '86 to hold the Intercontinental and WWE title at the same time? Will he cement himself as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time and the new WWE Champion? And as the match is going on, I say give him 30 minutes. And as the match is going on, superstars from the back, I can't believe I said that, wrestlers from the back come out, a couple at a time, like the New Day comes out, and then you got the Ascension coming out, and 2 or 4 at a time, guys are coming out on stage until we're at the point where we're getting to the peak of the match. And at the peak of the match, you got every wrestler that's worked for the company on the stage with these legends watching this tremendous 5-star match that is a must-see for everybody, and have it culminate with Ambrose pinning Wade Barrett clean in the ring. Not only does Ambrose bring back the Intercontinental Championship to tremendous prestige, he's also now the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. He got rubs from 5 Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers, and it also cements a 16-month feud with Wade Barrett on the side doing his thing, all culminating on Monday Night Raw title change, with the show ending with all the wrestlers in the ring, the Hall of Famer shaking his hand, and the show ends with Ambrose holding up the Intercontinental and the WWE Championship at the same time.
Very good.
That was awesome.
Very good. That was a very good push. I mean, man, we talked that we were gonna give our, time here and get it all out, and then we would comment on it for a couple minutes.
I got nothing to comment on.
I really don't either, man. The only thing I wanted to say something about
was about the Ascension and New Day. That's
and
about
I smacked my head.
You know what it's the first thing that hit me.
It has nothing to do with your storyline. I just can't buy the Honky Tonk Man. I can't take him as the best Intercontinental Champion ever because I fucking can't stand that guy.
Right.
Yeah, but he's gonna play it off.
I'm saying it because he used to say it.
Yeah,
It
I
has
know,
nothing to do with me thinking.
I know. But
Just remember, he would come out and be like, "I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all the time," So for him to come out at WrestleMania, nonetheless, the day that Ambrose would have the belt for 1 year, and say, "You know what? You're doing a pretty good job here."
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
I
And
know
then
what you're
rub,
saying.
you know?
I just can't stand Honky Tonk Man. I think I just wanted to get that point out.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch that.
That would be an amazing storyline for 16 months, and that was thought out real well. And I wish WWE can think out something like that for 2 months, let alone 16 months.
Yeah, like I said, I was trying to get Ambrose over, which I think I successfully did. Starting at WrestleMania this year, going to that day. And what a coincidence that it worked out that day 455 on Raw. It would be a Monday night. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that could end right there." I thought that was the coolest. I even added it. You see how I added it and stuff? And,
Do I need to check your math, make sure that's right?
yeah, if you want.
No, I'm joking.
So, to have it culminate there with a title versus title match, and the idea with the wrestlers coming to the ring kind of hit me on the way here. I was like, man, that'd be really cool. Like a big fight feel.
Yeah, dude,
Like, this is a huge match to everybody.
That's cool. I thought that was well thought out, and you did a really good job, and
Yeah.
and that was great. Let us know what you think, as well.
I couldn't change anything with that.
Man. So I think we're gonna just move on then.
I should have won first.
Can't teach that.
Oh man, yeah, dude, I'm anchoring this, and I feel like I feel like I should have went first now. But let's roll, bro.
Mine's not even that detailed, but I do have a bit of longevity in this. Okay, so my guy that I got going is Cesaro. I'm basically going to recreate everything with him to a point. I'm going to start him all the way from NXT, bring him up to the main stage. Basically what I got going, the way I'm going to play him off is he is the last real old school wrestler in the company. He's a first generation super. I almost said superstar as well. Oh my god.
They trained us.
They brainwashed.
Damn you, WWE, and your network for only
I
$9.99.
legit felt horrible when I said it.
That you play him off as the only first generation old school wrestler within the company. Start him off going through NXT. probably at the time when he was coming up, you probably had like Reigns and Rollins and all those guys probably going to NXT. You would have him go over all of them throughout like a 7-8 month period, just knocking off all the top guys, not losing, going on a big winning streak, going on to eventually become the NXT champion later on down the road, probably about 8-9 months after that you had that streak going on. Have him be NXT champion for another 6-7 months. Have him mow down everybody and eventually come up and say, I'm done with NXT. You know, have him be like that real mean, badass character, that real dirty heel. I'm done with everyone in NXT. I need to come up to the main stage. Bring him up to the main stage. He's already ready to go. He doesn't want to do any job matches. He wants to go right away, and I think you should put him in bigger matches right away. Giving everyone watches NXT, everyone's going to know who he is at this point. Have him go up in a number 1 contendership for the U.S. title. Him being Swiss.
Yeah.
I think it'd be another thing like what they're doing with Rusev right now. Have him be number 1 contendership for the U.S. title. Have him go up against like Ziggler at the time. Let's say your current U.S. title holder is Rusev, per se. Have him go up against Dolph Ziggler for number 1 contendership for the U.S. title. Do it at like Survivor Series and then build it up for that next match to be at Royal Rumble. Have Cesaro go over Ziggler cleanly as that clean heel, clean dirty heel. That makes sense.
I know what you're saying.
Have him go over, lead up into Royal Rumble to go up against Rusev. You have 2 international guys going for U.S. title. That I think is an awesome idea. I think anytime an international guy has U.S. title, both being heels, awesome way to go about it. Royal Rumble comes, you have Cesaro go over Rusev, take the U.S. title. Have him hold the U.S. title for about 5 or 6 months. Move on, say, I'm done with the U.S. title. Don't want it anymore. I'm moving on to the next thing. Have him go after the Intercontinental Championship holder next. Whether, let's say it's Ambrose. Someone like that. Go on, have a feud lasting for like 5 or 6 months. Eventually getting his shot. Going over everyone on his journey to the IC title. Say you're going like 5-6 months down the road after Rumble, so you're probably going to like SummerSlam around this time. Have him take out Ambrose for the IC title at SummerSlam. Have him go on, continue to be a strong push. He's at about a year and a half now with being up in the main roster. You got to lose a few matches. I'm not saying that he should be undefeated for an entire year in the main company. He's not Goldberg.
God.
Have him go on, beat Ambrose. Hold the IC title again for like another 6-7 months. What happened to the flag?
I know, I just saw that.
Anyway, have him hold on to the IC title for another 6-7 months. Let him go on. After that, let him do the same thing to the US title. It's like, I don't want this anymore. I'm moving on to something better. I'm too good for this crappy belt. Have him throw it in the garbage or do something stupid with it. Just get rid of it. Have him go on. He said he wants the main title shot. He wants to go up against the WWE Heavyweight Champion. Have Triple H come out at that time and tell him, you're not ready yet. You may think you're ready, but you're not. I know you're not. Have Cesaro go on. He's got bad mic skills. That's the only problem with this. I'm hoping that going through this, that he would develop that a little more, but seeing him now in real life, not that great. But anyway, Triple H comes out, does that whole thing, you're not ready, I know you're not ready, blah, blah. Cesaro goes out and says, I'm going to prove it to you. Since I'm the only last remaining old school wrestler within the company, myself being a first generation especially, I want all the legends and old school guys to come back up, and I'm going to take them out one after one after one, whether it be every Raw, whether it be every pay-per-view for like a straight year and a half. You have him go on, have him take down each of those legends. You have him remaining as the number 1 old school wrestler of all time, even though he's in the New Age era. So eventually, going down the road probably about a year and a half after he's done all this, having Triple H come out and say, you know what, I'm going to give you your chance against the main title, but first you got to go through me, because nobody is better than Triple H. Not that I think that.
I know what you're saying.
Have him go on, face Triple H at probably Royal Rumble. Have him go on, back and forth match, probably a good 15-20 minute match. I would have Cesaro about to finish him with his neutralizer, he calls it, I believe. And then all of a sudden you have HBK come walking out to save Triple H. Pulls a distraction. Triple H comes to at the time, pedigree Cesaro, pins Cesaro, knocks him out. Fast forwarding to Raw the next night, you're going to have Triple H come out and say, I told you weren't ready, blah, blah. Cesaro does this whole thing about, I deserve another chance, I need one more match. Have him come out, he's like, fine, WrestleMania, we'll do it again. But this time it'll be a handicap match. So you have Shawn Michaels, Triple H versus Cesaro. That WrestleMania, that will be his WrestleMania moment. You have him go over Triple H and HBK cleanly, while Triple H and HBK are trying to cheat to beat him. They can't, they're unable to do it, solidifying him as the greatest old school wrestler of all time. Moving on a little down the road here, this is where I start to cap it off a little bit. Cesaro still wants his main title shot after finally defeating Triple H after this probably 6-7 month feud going on. So you book it with John Cena as your WWE, God I hate saying that. John Cena as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You have your old school wrestler versus your sports entertainer superstar. And you feud that off for 4 or 5 months. You build up the match, you have them do non-title matches after non-title matches, have them face other high guys for like 4 or 5 months. Then eventually this will build up to SummerSlam again, so this is probably like about a 2-3 year period between all of this. Have him go up against SummerSlam, push Cesaro over Cena, have him take the title, and this solidifies him as a wrestler, bringing WWE back to what it should be, a wrestling company.
Dude, I like that one too. I like.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the solidifying of the wrestling to the company.
Yeah.
I really like that. The only issue I have, the only thing, which is I would think shorten it a little bit. Maybe not 3 years, maybe 2 years, so you can really like see
The
that
only
he's
reason
building
why I
going
did that
through
was
everybody.
because I wanted him to solidify those middle titles and have him hold that for a very long time. That's the only reason why I dragged it out.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
How
you're
funny
right.
is it that both of our fantasy bookings, man, emphasize on being a champion and having it mean something. Wow,
Yeah.
what a concept! Is anybody watching this? Do we have your attention now?
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Yeah, it's. I just. When did I don't know.
Yeah, but very
When
good.
did they just stop being important? I don't get it. They're there for a reason. When did they just stop
it's
being
not
important?
I mean, it is a prop, but not. It shouldn't be a prop. It should be like a legit.
It's not a title. It's a belt.
right.
Still
It's,
important to me.
it's important to me too. I mean,
That was my whole thing. I had trouble trying to get somewhat of like a timeline in this, and then all of a sudden when I woke up this morning, I came up with that. He's going to be a next face, and he is the next wrestling face, not the next superstar face, and he changes
like
the
that.
company.
I like that. I like the wrestling part of it. That was amazing. And then
Yeah,
you're right, holding the belts and making them mean something.
Yeah.
So if you're doing more than just pushing a guy, you're pushing the company. You're pushing all the belts to make them established. Yeah, I like it, man.
Because it is wrestling after all.
Yeah.
It's not sports entertainment. I'm with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrestling.
Pro wrestling. All right. Well, I'm doing Curtis Axel.
WrestleMania.
Better than perfect.
Longest Royal Rumble entrant ever.
Yeah, but that's not gonna obviously.
40 days.
I mean, I guess.
That he is the greatest of all time right now.
All right. I mean, so you have. You have Curtis Axel right now, who's doing nothing since his IC belt. Since he won that on Father's Day,
Because he's still in the Royal Rumble match. He can't do anything.
Greatest moments.
It was a great, it was a great moment. And I thought they were gonna take him off, and they were gonna
Chicago.
do it. And then it just nothing ever happened. And he never, and yeah, then we talked earlier about the Ryback thing, or the other episode about the Ryback thing. And it was just bad. And so I really like him. I think he's got tons of talent, and I wanted to make something better. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a complete reboot like yours, which is good, or it's just right now they're not doing anything with them, and they're probably not going to. So you have something happen where just any star, heel or probably heel star, has a match with him. He gets beaten, he gets taken out. He kind of like, I don't want to say depression, but he goes away, clear his head for a couple weeks, whatever. He goes home, he clears his head. He realizes, okay, I need to be perfect. I need to be like my dad. I need to be that what I'm saying I am, better than perfect. I need to be that label. So he trains and he wrestles in his ring. He's training with trainers, and he's lifting weights, getting into shape, getting cut, getting looking like the star that he knows he can be in his mind. And so he's home, and when after a little bit he gets his head straight, he just gets this vision that he's gonna go out there and just be perfect. He's gonna live up to his moniker of his family. So after he's gone for a little bit, and you now WWE's shown videos, vignettes or whatever of him training, him getting, and maybe a little bit of him speaking about how he's just like everything I'm saying he's getting right. So you as the fans were knowing that, like, okay, he's doing something, he's going to come back, and you start feeling what he is, like what he's trying to accomplish. So when he comes back, it's not just, oh, here's Curtis Axel again. You actually know on what the path he's taking, what he's trying to do. And so he comes back, and his first match is back. It's going to be a semi-jobber match. Maybe someone like Darren Young, and he just mows him down, just whoops him, and he wins the match with this McGillicudder move. It was a great move that he used to have. Yeah, and it was a great move, and that's how he wins it. So he gets the McGillicudder off, which maybe you start calling that like the perfect cutter or something. You know what I mean? Something to make it more to his namesake now, because he doesn't go after that name anymore. But and he wins by that, done deal. Goes on next week, Raw, whatever. Heath Slater's up. Heath Slater's down.
Yeah, quickly.
He's up, he's down.
You get him with that finisher again. So now you're showing that he's using a finisher. He's got a move. He's got a move that's cool. And third matchup, somebody that's got a little bit better, a little bit more pristine. When I wrote this, I had a different name down. I got to think of somebody real quick. Give me a good name that's on the lower card. That's good.
Kofi?
Okay, yeah, Kofi. Kofi's good.
These are good.
I like Kofi. Kofi's good. So Kofi comes in. They're having a match. Kofi and Axel it's not a jobber match. They're having a nice 10, 12-minute match, back and forth action. And then Kofi goes for his with Thunder in Paradise or whatever they call it. He's calling that thing now.
Trouble
in
in
Paradise.
Yeah, thing. Sorry.
Thunder in Paradise was that movie Hogan did.
No, it was a TV show.
TV show.
Yeah, my bad.
Hogan
I like that show.
Really? Really?
It was all right from back then. But so he goes for that, misses, and then pops his cutter off. 1, 2, 3. So now you're seeing that he's coming back. He's got an edge to him. He can now wrestle. He's showing you that he can wrestle. He's showing you that he can win. He's got an established finisher. He's going up the ranks. And then and it shows that he's with the match with Kofi, he's taken a little bit of beating. There's a little bit back and forth. He can get through adversities in a match. He's now starting to get mentally strong, and you see that now instead of all the frustration he has been giving you. But he's still not, he's still getting motivated and be that best wrestler and wanting to be perfect. But he understands he's not being cocky. He's not his grandfather. He's not the ex. He's not his father. He's not Mr. Perfect. He's just moving up the range. He's going up the right way. And you got to have the announcers. You got to have Cole. You got to have JBL and Booker and whoever else is doing the announcing. You got to have them kind of pitching this story about how he's trying to, live up to his family name. You're building with the announcers' help a backstory with him and where he's going. So it's not just, force fed down your throats. You as a fan are now starting to connect to him.
Is he babyface here?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
I think he's got to be babyface here. And excuse me. And also I want to note that he has not used the Perfect Plex. He hasn't needed it. He hasn't used it. And maybe he doesn't even fully want to, which is also something that they, the announcers are saying, like, he's just going through his thing. He makes his way through, and he now he's toward that U.S. title ranking, Maybe he wins like some kind of scramble match for the shot at the U.S. belt. He goes over, wins with the cutter, and you got the U.S. champ, which Rusev's the U.S. champ over for filming this, so we're gonna go with Rusev. He gets the U.S. belt match and has this match with Rusev. He gets the cutter off, goes for the pin. Everybody's thinking he's about to win. Kick out. Little adversity. Shows that he's a little confused. You know, fights through it. Doesn't lose his cool. Shows he's mentally strong. So he keeps fighting with Rusev now, and this match goes. Maybe he gets it off again. Maybe Rusev kicks out again. You know, maybe he then kicks out and he flips out a little bit, gets the accolade. He gets to the rope, saves it. We're going, and he's healing like, man, to beat Rusev, like I'm gonna have to do something here. Like this cutter ain't working. Rusev's a strong heel champion. The crowd's on my side. I got this. He gets Rusev, perfect plex. Pins him 1, 2, 3 in the perfect plex. Gets the U.S. belt. So now you got him going up. He didn't have to use the perfect plex ever, or until this point where he had to use it. Like, and it's like, wow, that was shades of his dad. And now he's got the U.S. belt, and you know, you move on from Rusev. He's the hero because Rusev's the heel champ.
Wow, the stinger.
Timmy, I'm from the Dream Come True Fantasy Contest. You ready to wrestle?
You bet. Mom, Dad, it's really him. Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Wanna go 2 out of 3?
Okay, guys, sorry about that. Battery died during Mike's little creative session, so we're gonna get right back into it right now.
All right, so where I think we left off at was he beat Rusev for the U.S. title. So what that does is he's now the American hero for beating an unbeaten Rusev. He used the perfect plex because he went through adversity and the cutter didn't work twice, and you know he didn't tap out through the accolade. So you see him being now what we would hope that the American hero. So you go on. He's the U.S. title holder. He has matches. He may lose one here and there, not necessarily for the title, obviously. You know, even through this whole time, I'm not trying to make him unbeaten. I want him to lose a match here and there, so it shows that he perseveres through the losses, learns from it, and goes on. He's learning to be perfect, you know, or to get perfect. So now he's the U.S. champ. He's a face. He's a crowd favorite, or a crowd favorite. Through these next few weeks or month or whatever, he bumps into Barrett maybe once. You know, him and Barrett kind of give a little, you know, like, you know, he bumps into him and Barrett's like, excuse you, and you know, and they have a little scuffle. Nothing ever really comes up of it. And, you know, they just kind of keep running into each other, bumping into each other, giving some looks, whatever. Eventually, it means to the heel Barrett, who, by the way, is the IC champ at this time, they start getting involved. Maybe some tag matches against each other. And now that you start forming a rivalry with them, eventually it will lead to whatever next pay-per-view is. If we're doing real time, it's probably going to be more Survivor Series or Survivor Series or TLC time frame. They have a title versus title match, U.S. Championship versus the IC match. You have Curtis Axel beat Wade Barrett for the IC belt. He now has 2 belts. Obviously, next night on Raw, I don't need 2 belts. Relinquishes the IC belt or the US title belt, which, you know, then you can now, as a side note, you now can run some sort of thing for it. Maybe a King of the Ring, which we talked about earlier today, for the belt or for something. Just bring the King of the Ring back. And now you have something for later on to, you know, to do, and you know, that US Championship can mean something and people can go for it. You have you have Axel being the IC champ, and he moves on, keep continuing to, you know, have, now he goes on, he's fighting going against good heels, good faces in respect matches, has this belt for a long time because like we all seem to want to do is elevate these belts. So you have him going against top tier talent, and you have matches and have little rivalries for maybe a couple months at a time, a few months at a time if you get into it with a Daniel Bryan or a Seth Rollins or a Dean Ambrose, and you have a nice little thing here, and maybe they trade some victories. Maybe he loses the belt, maybe he gets it back because I want that belt back because it means so much to me. And you have this now 8-9 months coming around to WrestleMania. And maybe it does or doesn't have the belt at WrestleMania, it doesn't matter, but you're still fighting for that belt because that belt means something to him, and they're trying to make it, mean something to people, and it's the same person he's going for, whether it's Ziggler or Ambrose or Bryan or whoever. It's the same guy that they're having back and forth matches with, and they're just fighting over this belt that means so much to them because this belt now means something. And then you have them at WrestleMania. We can even do it as, have that match versus whoever the champion is, him or not, doesn't matter. And he goes over. He wins the match. He wins the belt back, or he retains. And it was a nice match with somebody. Cleanly, he wins, and you're just establishing this belt. Well, now after WrestleMania, he feels like, hey, look, okay, like I've done something with this belt, and this is awesome. But I'm learning. I've fight through adversities. I've taken losses and grown from it and learned, and I'm beginning to be what I want to be in wrestling. But I'm missing that something, and obviously that something is the world title. So whoever the world title holder is at that time, he just says, hey, look, I'm coming from you, and I'm not even, and then they're and everybody, Triple H is like, okay, look, you've shown that you can handle it. You're main eventing stuff. You're getting the main event on Raw, and you know what? Okay, we'll give it to you. Let's but first, I'm not just gonna hand it to you because nothing should be handed to you. So the number one contender at this point in time is, okay, first I should say Lesnar has the belt still. Reigns is number one contender. Go through Reigns at this. What's before SummerSlam?
Night of Champions.
Night of Champions. It's Night of Champions. Night of Champions. You still have that. He still has the IC belt. Night of Champions. Battleground. Okay, Battleground is before SummerSlam. You win this. You have the IC belt. Reigns is the number one contender for that. For the championship, for the IC belt championship, you versus Reigns. You win. It's your title. You're number one contender. If you lose the belt and you go away. Well, don't go away, but you don't get the shot for it. Reigns wins. He has the belt and he gets to go on. Okay, so they have this match at Battleground. Obviously Curtis Axel's going over, beats him in a good match. A couple kick out of finishers. Again, he has to use the perfect plex in this to win. And by the way, anytime he uses the perfect plex, it is not a kick out. You do not. The perfect plex is supposed to be perfect. He uses it as a last resort to seal the win, and that's how it happens, and that's important. That's how it should happen. And so now he gets his battle. He gets his SummerSlam opportunity versus, we'll just say, because Lesnar's champ now, as we're filming this, versus Lesnar. And this is when he brings it. This is when he goes all out. And you still got Beast Mode, the Destroyer, the one who beat the one, and this is when you have that match, like Mr. Perfect, going for his father, Mr. Perfection, and versus your Beast, and they just go all out. They pull out all the stops. You just have this 5-star match. You put on this 5-star match, and at the end of it, Lesnar kicks out of the perfect plex. And it just destroys Axel, and he gets up and he's like, and he can't believe it, and he can't believe it. And Lesnar, he gets out and he gets up, and he can't believe it. And he starts really just beating down Axel. It's just like it flipped on him, and you think, like, okay, and he gets up and he F5s him, and you think it's just done, like all this is just done, and then he kicks out of that F5. He kicks out of that F5. Now Lesnar's like looking back at him like, what I have to do? Like we've just tore the place down. We've hit each other with everything. I've beat you mentally, and Axel just gets up and he looks up and he just feels like his father's looking down on him, and and you can just see that he just looks up and he goes at him, and he, you know, a couple more minutes of exchanges, boom, another perfect plex. 1, 2, 3, done. Now now he's your world heavyweight championship, and you have that big moment, you know, where like the faces come out and they're happy for him, and even Lesnar gets back up, and Lesnar looks at him, and they look at each other. Lesnar gives a little handshake or a little fist pump before he walks out, a little bit of a pass, like not the torch to say, but a little sign of respect that like, wow, you're able to beat me, and then, you know, obviously that's where my push ends for Axel. But I feel, thank you. I feel like that was broken. We had issues with the camera, so I know I retreaded on some stuff, and I lost my train of thought there a couple minutes ago. And that should have came out a lot more fluent, a little bit better. And I felt like I rushed through it. But I mean, I hope you all got the gist of what I was trying to do and what I was trying to say on that. Even with me losing my mojo, so to speak, there for a second on my creativism. And
Still worked.
yeah, I mean, so I tried to, like we all did, I tried to elevate all the titles. I tried to elevate him, showing the signs of adversity, also showing the family aspect of it. You know, I just tried to give him a big character with him trying to live up to like his dad, but to also be himself too, and not be Mr. Perfect. But you know, I hope that you guys got that out of that.
So I really like that ending you put in where after he does the perfect plex and Lesnar kicks out the first time, and then he's like down and beat, and then he kicks out of the F5. Then he looks up like he's looking up to his father. That's like a goosebump moment right there.
Yeah, I got it when
That's
I was
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I like everything about it. You know, for anybody who's discouraged because, you know, might get, you know, confused with the breaking it up. The first time I originally, you told me this.
Yeah, we talked.
Holy cow, I was blown away with the way that he won't use the plex until it's ready to go. And the only thing that I would change, and it's weird because like I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm like, I have no right to say that I want to change anything. This is your creative.
No, but that's,
you know what I mean? But the one thing, if I wrote that exact same story, is that I would keep the McGillicudder and same the name. That's just something so small,
You would
though,
keep the name?
because just of heritage of.
Okay.
It's so cool when wrestlers keep the same names of the moves, even if they change characters, and it's happened before. Like X-Pac, for instance, he still calls his finisher the X Factor when he's on. When he was in TNA, they still call it the X Factor, even though he wasn't X-Pac. He still called it that. You know what I mean? And it's just something like McGillicudder. It's so, you know, unless they call it just like Gillicutter or, yeah, like you said, the perfect cutter or something. But you know, you got the perfect plex, the perfect cutter. What's this? The perfect punch, the perfect, you know, perfect arm drag.
Absolute cutter.
Yeah, absolutely cutterful. I don't know.
But yeah, and you know what? That's something I did forget. Like when we were talking, like it was like he wasn't supposed to use the perfect plex until he perfected it, and I didn't think I stated that. I'm glad you brought that.
I think I remember you bringing that up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if
You
I
might
didn't, you know, I mean, I really felt like because of the issues, the technical we had, and I didn't really.
Yeah, I would have had that same problem too. That was.
I lost.
That was bad timing on the bad camera.
Yeah, it is what it is. But
I think you picked it back up well though. And we got it out there pretty good.
But I mean, I think all of us. I liked everything that we talked about. I think you stole the show, sir.
Yeah.
I think you stole the show.
Yeah,
That's awful. Thanks.
I mean, not that any of ours were bad. Everybody, please tell us what you thought. Hopefully, everything you understood what we were trying to get out there. We tried to do this in a shorter time frame because we both, all three of us both, sorry, all three of us could have really dived into this and went into the matches more and tried to show you what
We don't want
exactly
this to turn into a 3-hour show.
Right, we were just trying to roll it along. Hopefully you caught the bullet points and and get it out, because we could have really, all of us dived in thoroughly on each and everything we wanted to point out, and little key factors here and there to make, as the weeks go by, the story progress. But we can't do that.
The thing that I love a lot, man, is just that I think we're all on the same page of certain things. You know, we're not going like. When I say like it's important to me that a championship is emphasized, I don't think that that's an old school mentality. I think it's a logical, sane, you know what I mean, thought. You know what I mean? Like, let's put all these belts out here. Like Stone Cold always says, man, if you're not in the business to get the belt, then what the hell are you doing here? If you don't want to be the absolute best, then why are you here? You know what I mean? And the belts are, to me, I call them belts. Sorry, Vince, but the belts to me, you know, they're stepping stones, you know. All great former world champions were at least had some kind of belt leading up to it. You know?
Yep.
And I love how we're all on the same page of emphasizing a championship. Each one of us had a championship story. You know what I mean? I think that's all it's about.
I think we should do some final thoughts here. I don't know how much longer the battery has after we recharge for a minute. But
It's down on the last part.
you got a final thought?
My final thought is that I want the King of the Ring to come back. I want it to be in December, and I want the winner of the King of the Ring to be number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Okay, my final thought is recently it was announced that we got a new Hall of Fame edition. It's the little child that passed away from his cancer, I believe, some form of cancer. And Vince McMahon brought him up into this warrior class, and I just want to applaud and say that's awesome doing that.
Yeah, my thoughts are, final thought would be, WWE, take one of our ideas, or all three of them, and, make it one of them or all three of them happen. Think that would be pretty cool.
Very good. As always, comment down below. Let me do my little thing.
Yeah, I know.
Way to go.
We jumped.
Comment down below, Facebook and Twitter as well. Go ahead and follow those. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you felt about our ideas, if you want to change anything around. If you want to, go ahead and come up with your own storyline and send it in to us, and we'll review it on a future episode, most likely. Like the videos also, if you enjoyed it, make sure to favorite it, share it, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, and talk to us. But
to be the sleepers, you've got to beat the sleepers. Woo! YouTube, take it easy.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Yeah.
do you want to take it off?
No, I'm cool. I just wanted to unzip it.
Damn it.
Alright.
Take two. Cut.
We are the sleepers of the Second City.
Should have held it up.
Do we have to do this all over again?
If you hold it up while the music, you're playing the music, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll hold it up and then you can say Alex,
give it
Mike,
like
and
a
Jake here. So,
5 seconds or something like that.
well, just while he says our names, and then we'll drop it down and get into it. That's good. Okay, that's good. We'll try. Plus, figure off on the start anyway.
Yeah.
Take 3.
It's going to be a lot of bonus features here.
All right, let's go.
We are the sleepers of the Second City. Alex, Ryan, and Jake here once again. All right, sit there, Ryan, damn it.
Want to cut that out? Take 4.
Mikey!
Oh, this sucks. Take 4.